Oh yeah. Welcome to the live stream. Do we get a little bit of a bass drop right there? Do we hit that drop? The beat drops. Not just the bass drop, but the beat dropped. All right. Welcome. First off, I know it's going to take a couple minutes to get everybody here. Also to get this music to settle down a second. I'll wait. Just going to tweet this out real quick if you don't mind. Yep, here we are. I've got a couple things to say. I've got a couple announcements to make about the channel, actually. So I'll do that, and then we'll take calls. I guess I already opened up the phone lines, but I'm gonna not take the first call yet. So actually, let me turn the phone lines off for a sec. That was quite the track. Oh, perfect timing. I just finished sending the tweet. All right. Hey, welcome to the live stream, everybody. I know, like I said before, it's going to take some people a few minutes to check in, to get here. That's awesome. I appreciate you all being here and showing up. And hopefully you like the shirt, by the way. Last Dive Bar. It's a brand new banger here. Whoosh. What more can be said? What more needs to be said? Whoosh. I know they'll probably want to make this into another commercial. I always say that I make a commercial for them here on a live stream. So lastdivebar.com, get your new swag. Woo. Howard Terminal. All right. Let's actually get into what a couple of things I want to say first, and then I'll tell you more about this shirt. What was the first thing? Oh, quite simply, and actually, let me just do this. Take this off here, and actually, I'm just going to take all the graphics off for just a second. Quite simply, I've realized lately that my channel needs to be a little bit more harnessed and focused, and it kind of stinks that YouTube works this way, but honestly, Twitter works this way, Instagram works this way. It's you versus the algorithm, and when I say that, am I really out to chase every single metric in the world? Am I trying to get every follower, like, subscription? Not necessarily, but in the end, let's be honest, I do create things because I want the most amount of people to actually enjoy them. And what I've found out here on YouTube, especially lately, is that the algorithm is kind of crushing me in a sense that it wants me to be a Sharks guy, or it wants me to be an A's guy, or it just wants me to be a sports guy. And so when I throw up a couple aviation videos or stuff that's maybe a little bit off topic, it doesn't like me. And I'm seeing the response. And again, I don't really read too far into it. Sometimes I just say, well, I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing and it'll find people. But I also realize that I kind of have to play the game too. So that being said, I started an aviation channel a couple months back. And actually I started it. I had some time after baseball season ended to create some videos. I put those up. And then I just went cold turkey. I kind of faded out off of it. And I went back and realized that some of those videos actually got watched and the channel actually picked up some traction over the holidays when I didn't even really do anything to it. So I am going to be making more aviation and flying related videos. It's just that they will not be on this channel. I'm going to put everything into that channel, which again is the intimidation factor because it's got only a couple hundred subscribers and I can't monetize anything over there yet. And it doesn't necessarily give you the reward of being worth your time to do all this and to know that the audience is not necessarily going to be there from the start. But I truly feel like putting aviation stuff over there exclusively is going to help that channel get to where it needs to be quicker And it's going to help my channel here because quite honestly, I know a lot of people put up with the flying stuff that I do here on this channel, but what you're really here for is sports, A's, Sharks, and a little bit of the personality, hopefully, that I can bring to the channel in other ways. So again, I'm not going to necessarily, pigeonhole myself into just sports all the time here or just A's and Sharks, but it's going to be pretty much, what you see from me on other platforms. That's what this channel is going to be. And then I am really going to run the aviation channel as best as possible and hopefully get that thing going too. So I'll put links everywhere. Subscribe to that channel if flying is of interest to you, or if you just want to support me. I really appreciate it either way. But I'm really going to make a concerted effort to put the flying stuff in one place and put the TV and sports and life-related stuff right here on this channel. Okay, so that's one thing. I'm seeing a bunch of comments come in now. And people are wondering, like, wait a second. I came here for the live or the phone calls. Wait a second. Somebody said here. Oh, Samuel said sent me straight to voicemail. Don't worry, Samuel. I'm gonna hit the phone lines up in just a second. Let me just do one more announcement, which I just realized. What was the other? Oh, I know what the other announcement was. Speaking of that, Cake Girl, hello, but how about this? 209 Tacos. Yo, what a shirt. I mean, really though. When I saw this in my mailbox, I was super excited. I mean, when it came out, I was pretty pumped. I mean, this is, again, sorry, my mic is so big, it's in the way. It's just, come on. Right? Howard Terminal. Trying to give you a clean screenshot there. Q just came to stare at the shirt. You know what? I've heard I'm best on mute anyway. Like I do my best work when I'm muted. So if that's all you came to do, it's perfect. That's all you need to do. Digital Prez, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Do I think that the Oakland A's, Kyler Murray, what? Do I think they're still thinking about him? Yeah. That's kind of weird. I hope somebody calls up and asks about that. We can talk about that. He deleted everything off of his Instagram, stopped following the Arizona Cardinals. Anyway, so more on that later. The other thing I wanted to say, and kind of, I don't know if this is an announcement or whatever, but I do some of these live stream call-ins, right? And yeah, later on, I will be taking your calls. This is going to be awesome. 510-343-3640. That's my phone number. What's crazy enough is that when I started this stream, I actually almost typed in my real cell phone number just off of habit. It's also a 510 number. So I was like, whoa, stop, hold on right there. Anyway, that phone number, I want to make that phone number a bigger resource than it actually is right now. Obviously, while I'm live streaming, that's when I want you to call in. We can chat. I love that type of interaction. But I also want to make this phone number right here, I want to make this more of a thing. So when you're watching a game and something happens or the end of it comes and you're not satisfied or you have something just to get off your chest, you want to rant, you want to vibe, you want to riff, you want to do whatever, you call this number right here and you just leave a voicemail. And I'm going to start making more videos reacting to your voicemails from this phone number right here. So I think, and I'll start doing it on Twitter and other social platforms. Hey, what'd you think about this? Call me right now, leave a message. And then I'll play the best messages on future videos, on future live streams. Don't be shy, don't be afraid. I'm only going to answer that phone number when I'm on here doing live streams. When I'm clearly working or doing something else, I will not be answering the phone. It goes right to voicemail. You know that. And I think at the end, if you don't like what you said or the way you said it, you want to try it again, just hit delete, I think. Or at the end, you can just say, hey, you know what? I screwed up. Let me try and leave this message again. Because I get it. Sometimes you want to make sure things come out right. So I want to make this phone number more of a thing on the off days and off hours. And I'll do better at checking it. I think you can text it too, but I'm not going to get into texting anybody on there. That doesn't seem worthwhile for me. But I do want to take your voicemails, your thoughts, your comments, whatever's on your mind while it's there, call this number, right? I want to take advantage of this. And then, like I said, periodically, maybe once, twice, 3 times a week, I'll make reaction videos. I'll play your voicemail and I'll give you my instant thoughts. Although it's not the same as, instant live reaction like a phone call. I think it's the next best thing. I like to have your guys' personalities, your guys and gals' personalities on my channel too. So bookmark this phone number. Do me a favor. Put this phone number in your phone right now. Make it a contact, right? So when you want to call Brody Brazil, say something, record it. I'll play it back. I guess, try and keep it, I don't want to say, clean, but straightforward. Like get right to the point. Like go right after what you want to say. So I have the ability to play voicemails just as simply as I do to take phone calls. So I really look forward to more of this. Please call in more often and let me know, things that are on your mind, and we'll make some video and some content out of it. All right? Appreciate it. Okay. Now, back to the fun stuff here. Actually, let me just do a couple more live comments here. A's would have been a dynasty with Kyler Murray. I don't know. I don't know how that would have, even if he said, you know what, I'm not playing football, I'm going baseball right now. He did not want to be in the minor leagues. I don't know how refined his skills were. I think, did he only play 2 years of college? Is that right? Tim Johnson says, oh, wait a second, is your avatar me? Wait a second, is that when I was wearing the Robin suit? B Squared, the hardest working man in sports-related real estate journalism. Am I selling real estate? What? Brutus, hello? Yari, I hope you'll call in. I hope you'll leave me some messages. Again, whatever's on your mind. Caker Girl, whenever you want to call in, I will prioritize. I can't wait to play the messages. Here's my chance. Acknowledge Henderson Park, and the bridge in center field is yours. I don't know what Henderson Park is. I've seen some of your messages before, and I don't exactly. You're building a park like Ricky Henderson Park? When I hear Henderson and the Oakland A's, I think Southern Nevada. My mind goes to bad places. I want this. Henderson Park has been acknowledged, Timothy. Hey, Brody, don't I have a Shure SM7B? As in the microphone? Stand by. I actually do. I know that's kind of a weird thing for most people, like they know on this channel. Yeah, that's a Shure. It's got a hair on it. That's a Shure SM7B. I also have here sometimes another mic I use. This is an Electro Voice RE20. Look at that thing. It's like Battleship Gray. I know that's what nobody's here for, but since people are asking the question, I have a couple more mics over here in the old temporary mic locker right next to me. So, Samuel, save the phone number. Well, hopefully, Samuel, you can call in just a couple seconds, too. Do I know why the Sharks have a week off of games? Well, they were supposed to have 3 weeks off in total, right, with the Olympic break. And then what happened was the league repurposed 2 weeks for a lot of teams, but for the Sharks, it's only about 10 days that they repurposed. So that's why they are playing the 14th and the 17th, I think, and the 20th. There's 3 dates that got moved around, basically. Sandlot, I appreciate you. Hey, right? I appreciate you. Yeah, that's right. Kyler only played 2 seasons of baseball in college. So, I mean, really, what were you going to get? I don't know. It's a fun conversation. It's a fun hypothetical, but let's just leave it at that. Brody Uber Alice is still, you're Curry Uber Alice. Oh, Curry above all else. Can I please put the phone number back up? Yeah, it's no problem. Call me anytime. 510-343-3640. This is going to be up a lot, actually, while I'm taking the calls here. Q is here for the mic talk. Probably need a cloud lifter for gain on those bad boys. That's funny you mentioned that, Q. That's very funny. What do I have right here? This is the regular Fed head. So I use Fed heads, not cloud lifters. Some of you are like, what are you guys talking about? This is an inline preamp device. You plug it in, phantom power to it. And then actually, this is the lesser known sibling of the Fed head. This is the Fed head Phantom. And the difference here is that this one will actually pass phantom power, whereas the other Fed head, this guy doesn't pass the phantom power. So you'd use this on like an SM7B, And then you'd use this one on a condenser mic if it needed gain, but obviously you could use this on a dynamic too. Anyway, let me put these back. People are like, what? What are you guys even talking about here? What is all this technical babble? Brody, do I collect anything, any hobbies you don't really talk about on the shows? Well, I mean, if you don't know aviation, that's definitely one of my huge things. And I like, honestly, being a homeowner, well, for, I guess, 12 years now, but for the last 7 living in the house that we've lived in, it's, way past 50 years old. It needs a lot of things done to it on a consistent basis. I actually do like home projects. I got to say, I like home projects that I can actually do. I know sometimes it gets a little bit frustrating when things are out. I've always said if you have a really good idea of how you're going to do it and you're pretty sure you have the skill to do it and you definitely have the right tool to do it, then I think you're pretty likely to be able to get it done. But anyway, I don't like to take on too many things that are either unsafe for me. I don't do that. Or I don't do it if it's way beyond my grasp of knowledge or the time that I would have available. But I like that stuff too. I like photography. I don't talk about that a lot here on the channel, but I should do photos are such a visual element. I should do a better job of sharing some of the photos I've taken in real life. Nas, hey Brody, loved your spot on on setting up a home studio. Would really love to see how you guys prepare for a game cast. I see notes and laptops strewn everywhere. You know what? What I think I would like to do, and it's funny you mention that, is one day do a live stream of like literally the hour leading up to a pregame show, and then actually to bring my gear inside the studio. Now, all I really have to do is make sure that there's Ethernet. There's good Ethernet in the studio. If there is, and there is, I know there is, but the cable lengths and all that stuff, I will set it up. So basically, I'll just let the live stream run throughout the course of a pregame show. And, you could see during the commercial breaks what Brownie and I do, how we prepare, all that stuff. So that's actually it's a great idea. What I'd probably do is incorporate instead of preparing in the office that I normally do, I'd probably just sit there and prepare in the studio right in front of you guys so you can see it. I would talk to the producer, Chelsea, right in front of you. So she would obviously know that we're live streaming. That's a great idea. I would take you up on that, and I'd like to do that. You have a Fed head for your Rode pod mic. Worth it because you don't need an extra cable. Yes, that's exactly it. The Cloud Lifter, you need an extra cable. The Fed head, you don't. Oh, people are calling. Okay, Jacob. Yeah, see, here's what's happening. I'm taking the live chats here, and I'm not actually doing the phone calls. Do you ever dabble in crypto trading / investing? Do I think the NHL will embrace NFTs like the NBA has? I think the NBA has always been ahead of curves in a good way, like things like that. So I'm still not sure about NFTs. Like, you still got to sell me a little bit. I understand. Here's what I do understand. They're so popular. They are so instantly accepted by so many people that I know what they're talking about, that something must be with them, that they are going to stand the test of time. I'm just having a hard time adopting to and adapting to something that's not, I guess, tangible. Is it NFT, non-fungible token, but not tangible? Like, it's not something necessarily that you own. You own the digital copy of something, which is crazy, right? Because I just bought a couple movies on Apple iTunes, but I don't own the DVD. I don't own the Laserdisc. I don't own the VHS copy of it. So I do subscribe to, you don't have to own the physical copy of things, but man, it's just like, here's a piece of artwork. It exists somewhere else, but you own the digital version of it. I'm like, what stops me from copying this 10 times over and sending it to all my friends? I own it, but so what? Anyway, all right, let me do this. Let me go ahead and set us back up here for phone calls and things of that nature. I'm sorry that I actually, I got so carried away in some of the live chat that I turned the phone lines off. So, okay, the phone lines are now back up and running. So if anybody, well, whenever anybody's ready to call in, bang, right now. And I know there were some takers, so let me begin here. Good evening from the 209. Who's this?
What's up, Brody? It's Jacob.
Hey, Jacob. So you were getting the voicemail. I apologize about that.
Oh, it's all good.
I wanted to start the video off with a couple different things, and then I figure sometimes people don't even call in instantly. It takes a few minutes to, get more people checking in, all that stuff. So anyway, sorry for the delay. Thanks for your patience. What's going on?
Oh, you're welcome.
What's going on?
Well, right now I'm watching the U.S. Women's hockey right now against Canada.
Nice. How's it going? You know what? I have a TV on here in the home studio. I was actually a bit scared to put on the game over here because if I show it in the background, I'm worried that YouTube might ding me for some like copyright stuff or like I'm very, especially with Olympic broadcast stuff, I'm very scared of that. So how's the game going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. We're losing, I think last time I looked at the screen, it was 4-2.
Okay. All right. Respectably close. Good, decently played game, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah, Canada's like really it's funny because we control the game like most of the game and we have good shots, but Canada's just finishing like their shots.
How's my friend Kendall doing?
Oh, she almost had a goal and she's been really assisting a lot and we're just some reason, like, I think we're on our game, but I think it's been off night a bit.
Yeah. Well, going up against Canada is, that's the big one. I mean, men's and women's, right? So,
yeah. Crosby versus, who we got? Like, Crosby versus, I don't know, who'll be our U.S. guy?
You want a U.S. player? I'll give you one of them, Joe Pavelski.
Oh,
there are others, but I'll give you that one to start with. Just on the
old man
on the closest front. Yeah. He's been there, done that before. So cool. Well, you know what? It's kind of weird. I have not even really gotten into a whole lot of Olympics watching yet, and the big reason why is because it's weird. I'm off work this week, and have been for a couple days, and so I've kind of just tuned out of TV time, or and I've been following it. I've been watching stuff on social media. I saw that the Canadian women's team, by the way, had to play with their masks on. Yeah, was it yesterday because of the Chinese team didn't have all their tests back or something? Did you hear about that?
Wow. I don't know. I didn't even watch the Canada team.
Yeah. Anyway, so. I'm behind on my Olympic watching, but I'm glad you at least brought me up to speed for now.
All right. Oh, Brody.
Yes.
Any updates on the A's? I put it in the comments, but now I got my call through.
Yeah. So they're going to take up the matter of certifying the EIR. Is that the 17th of February? And so. Could it be voted on that day? Yes. May it be pushed off until even March? Also, possibly yes. There's a couple other auxiliary votes. I don't mean to get into the whole graph here, and I should actually do a separate video on what remains, like what votes need to happen, what things need to happen to get closer. But certifying the EIR would be a huge deal. That is one of the big pillars left. And
oh wow!
It has been recommended that the Oakland City of Oakland oh my gosh, the board basically, it's been recommended the council. My goodness, the city council. God. It's been recommended, a board of governors. I keep thinking about about hockey for a second. That the city, it's been recommended that the city council go ahead and certify that. So that's kind of the expectation as for right now. And again, whether they do it in a couple days from now on the 17th, or whether they even pass it off until March, it does kind of seem inevitable. So that's just another big step. Quite honestly, big picture, I think you're looking at, something that is going to take the course of this baseball season to complete, get everybody, get all these votes in, get everything squared away. So I don't think it's a right around the corner deal, but this progress that's being made, I'm telling you, you'll look back someday and think, I should have been more excited about all these things as they happen,
Right.
So
Yeah, it's always good to be optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to be optimistic. I also think, quite honestly, you got to be realistic about these things. If they weren't going your way, if you could see the writing on the wall, like, oh, this isn't happening, I think people would be concerned. But to be very, forthright, I see things happening that I'm like, I can't believe it. Like this is not imminent, but we're getting closer. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Yeah, step by step, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate the call. I'm gonna try and get through. I'm gonna try and actually get it to as many people as I can in the next hour or so here. So I don't mean to cut you off, but I have enjoyed talking to you.
Oh, you too, as always. And USA is still 4-2 at 13 minutes.
13 in the game left.
Actually, 17. My bad. I can't see that far.
You know what? Pull the goalie in the next 3 minutes. Who cares? Go for it.
Yeah, right. Let's go. Yeah.
You only live once. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for the call, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome, and see ya.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Again, take this phone number, bookmark it. Not necessarily just for these live streams. By the way, phone lines are back open again. Call me in the meantime. I really want to promote that. When there's something on your mind, something that just happened, you want to rant about it, hit me up. Hello from the 408. Who's this?
You want to rant about it? Hey, Brody, this is Matthew. How are you doing?
Hey, Matthew. How's it going, buddy?
Doing well. How about you?
You're in the 408, so South Bay?
Yeah, South Bay, close to Los Gatos.
Cool. All right. Ooh, Los Gatos. I like it. Home of Dan Boyle.
Yep.
Although he is so much in the hills, like he said, he's like, I could give people my address. They still wouldn't be able to find my house. It's so tucked away up there. So what's going on, man? What do you want to talk about?
No, I just wanted to thank you for answering that comment about why you wanted to be a sportscaster.
Oh,
pretty interesting.
That was yours, huh?
Yeah, that was mine. I'm the one that has Jumbo on the profile picture.
Okay, got it. I remember that. Now that you say it, I remember that. Yeah. It's I don't think I don't share too many like personal things all the time because I think that gets old with people. But I feel like I've been doing this for so long, and some people are like, they feel like they know me. I feel like I know the audience, but I've never really shared entire background details, things like that. So. I'm glad you asked that, and hopefully I gave you something that was a serviceable answer. So.
Yeah, it was great because right now I'm just figuring out what to do in college. So.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good option.
Okay, where do you go?
Well, I'm thinking of going to West Valley. It's a community college.
Okay. So you're not in school now?
No, not yet.
Okay. So are you in high school or are you college aged?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm still in high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. In reverse, looking back, and I mean, I'm twice the age of a college student right now. I think so many people rushed into a major or something that they didn't even want to do, and they kind of realized that in the first 2 years of general schooling that they were going to have to do anyway. A buddy of mine, I won't say his name, but I'll give you an example. He went to University of Washington, and he got into engineering, and I think he thought that's what he wanted to do, and it seemed like something he was interested in, and he goes through about a year and a half of it, and he's like, this ain't me. It's not what I want to do. And he ends up actually going to San Jose State with me, but he gets into the athletic training program, and now he works for a Major League Baseball team as one of their trainers. So I guess what I'm saying is, so many young people don't even necessarily know instantly what they want to do a year or two removed from high school. And to think that, you're going to go to college because that next year you're going to start your, schooling to be a doctor or this or that or whatever. It's just so early on in your life. I mean, you've got so many years to figure this out. So yeah, go to West Valley or just whatever you do, make sure you knock out all the stuff you're going to have to do anyway. Buy yourself some time, figure out what you want to do, how you want to attack it. You said you're thinking about like broadcasting or something?
Well, that was one of my options.
Oh, okay.
Right now in high school, I'm taking this class called digital animation, and it's really interesting.
Oh, okay, cool.
To me, because I have a bad habit of playing games, but it's but that's what I do.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see. I was holding up my Xbox controller.
No, I have your live stream paused.
Oh, nice. You'll see it later.
Yeah, I'll see it later.
Well, like I said, there are things that, you figure out. And I guess if I were to answer your question again, you're asking me, for those that don't know, you said, how did you even get into this stuff? One of the things that I didn't really maybe state was that there are ways to turn your passions into eventual professions. And when I say that, passion could be sports. Well, guess what? I don't think you or I are going to be a Major League Baseball player ever. I mean, you might be really good, but
you could have been.
Yeah, but chances are, right? Like the odds are against all of us to do those things. But that being said, there are ways to work in professional baseball or professional sports or whatever. I'm just making up examples here. There are ways to work in those fields, and there's a lot of jobs surrounding them. So, like I said, you're so young, you got time to figure all this stuff out, and obviously I wish you the best.
Thank you, Brody. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And also before I go, I just wanted to ask you a question about the Sharks.
Yeah.
So how long have you been with the Sharks? Working for them?
2009 was my first season.
Oh, wow. So I was going to ask you, what was your favorite game that you've been to?
That's a good one. I think there's a couple of them, and for different reasons. I think the Sharks beat the Preds to go to the Stanley Cup final. So that was the Western Conference final clinching game. It was on. It's crazy. I can tell you the date. I think it was May 25th of 2016. And that night, I think eventually they won by a couple goals, so they kind of made the game a little bit more comfortable at the end. But knowing, oh my gosh, the Sharks are going to be on hockey's stage because of tonight, because of the last couple weeks, I feel like that was a big one. The series deciding goal, and I want to say it was at 2012 or 13 against the Kings at Staples Center. I was there for the jumbo slide, that overtime goal. And there were some other games too. The Sharks eliminated the Red Wings 2 years in a row in 2010 and 11 in the second round of the playoffs in each of those respective years. And full disclosure, I mean, I've been a Sharks fan for literally since '93. So, I mean, as a spectator, I've definitely remembered some incredible moments too. But from the work angle, I mean, I think those are among the biggest ones. Work-wise. And then there were some milestone nights. I think covering Patty's game even last year. Although we didn't get to be there, the game was in Las Vegas. That was still pretty special to understand that, the record of Gordie Howe and how incredible that still is, got surpassed. So there's nights like that too. So I know I said a lot of them there. It would be impossible for me to say just one. I think, for I guess 13 years for me, if you said top five, I could probably give you a really meaty top five.
Yeah.
So,
sure, in those top five, would you put the Game 7 of Vegas? Definitely.
Oh,
right?
Thank you for bringing that one up. See, I mean, I kind of rambled. I forgot to mention that one. That one's definitely up there too. And we had the pleasure of obviously doing the game broadcast for that round. Because, in the playoffs, the regional networks get round one, and then after that, we don't get to do the games anymore. So when Randy handed it off to our post-game show, which was his final call of that postseason, 2019, the first thing I said was, you may have, and I'll never forget what I said, you may have just witnessed the best Sharks win in franchise history, something like that. Because it just kind of came to my mind, like for everybody watching, Game 7 in overtime like that, the comeback of all comebacks, and obviously too the whole, the 5-minute major and the 4 goals scored there. So yeah, that's easily in the top 5 for sure. That's probably a top 3. So
yeah, it's that game was just incredible. I wasn't there, but I watched it on TV, but it was just amazing. See the Sharks come back like that.
Yeah, it sounded. The one thing I'll never forget about that night is when they scored, and every time they scored, I was down at the floor level, like the ice level. There was almost like a boom inside the building it would be the sound if everybody sitting in their seat literally stomped their feet on the floor as hard as they could at the same time. It's like boom, and then yeah. It was kind of a weird. I don't know how to describe it. And the same like when I was outside for Goodrow's goal in overtime, but those 4 that they scored in the power play, it was almost like something hit the building almost. That's crazy in retrospect, but it being there, something hit you in the chest, and then you heard the applause. So
yeah, and also like playoff games in that SAP center.
Oh
it's
yeah,
just electric. It was just electrifying, and it's great.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully they can get back to it. To be quite honest, kind of you take it for granted when you miss it and you haven't had it in a couple years. I certainly want them to get back to that type of atmosphere. Hey, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much for the question the other day and for coming back tonight. And I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. See you later, Brody. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Be well. All right. All right. And I just want to say I don't mean to be short with anybody here, but I hope everybody realizes that I'm trying to keep the pace going. Just in a sense of I want to get to as many people as possible here. Also from the 408, who's this?
Hey, this is Isaac Fournier from Campbell, California.
Isaac, how's it going? Campbell, how are you, buddy?
Yeah.
You're breaking up you're breaking up just a little bit. I don't know if there's a better spot or if you want to try and call me back.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hold on 1 second.
You're a little bit better already. It's amazing we all know like how to get the signal better in our houses or wherever you're at. Are you still there?
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. No, you're good. You're good now.
Okay.
You're ripping in now. I'm glad you stayed with it. How's it going? What's on your mind?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Not much. I was just listening and thinking about all the stuff that's been going on with like the Sharks and the trade deadline, and I was wondering what your favorite rookie has been this year.
Oh, for the Sharks?
Yep.
I think that's almost too easy. I think Jonathan Dahlen, to me, has exuded a lot of like veteran type plays, presence. The fact that Bob Bugner keeps him, in the top 6 this entire time. And there was a point where Dahlen recently said that he felt like he was struggling so bad, and he got called into the coach's office. He thought he was going to be a scratch that night. Turns out he scores a goal. I think it was that night or 2 games later. But he's been the most fun to watch. I think the lineage with his dad, knowing that it's the first Sharks father-son duo to both play for the team. There's no question that he's up there on the list for me. And it's no knock on like Weatherby or I got to be honest. I enjoyed William Eklund when he was around too, and I look forward to his first like full true rookie season. But Jonathan Dahlen for me is probably the guy.
Yeah. I thought he's had a great season so far.
Yeah. He's tailed
been
off
very weird.
Yeah, tailed off a little bit scoring, and I think there was this like the shoulder/arm injury for a bit, and COVID. Was it COVID twice for him? So he's had setbacks, but I still think he is around the pace. He could get to 20 goals this year, and if he does, I mean that's don't sleep on that. That's a great start to your NHL career. So you're a big Dahlen guy too. You got any others you'd throw in there?
I'm a really big. Well, I've been a fan for kind of a while, so I'm more of a fan. I tend to lean towards guys like Hurdle and Couture that I've known for longer, and I'm rooting for them to get back into the swing of things because I remember when they get hot, they can really be dangerous. So I'm just kind of hoping that they can kind of catch stride as we try to like push back into a playoff spot. Yeah. So
I think what I'm realizing during this All-Star break, if that's what we're calling it, former Olympic break, is that, the playoffs, how do I say this? And I said for a while, I think it was late December, early January, hey, Sharks are a playoff contender. And I still think they're in that conversation, but man, it's going to be a tough competition for spots in the West. The Sharks' schedule, I don't want to say it's tougher because they've done a lot of the heavy lifting and traveling and such, but They're going to play a bunch of games here against their own division that really, really matter. So everything matters here down the stretch.
Yeah.
You're going to play Anaheim so many times, Edmonton 4 more times. These head-to-head games against the teams you're chasing and are chasing you. So, again, I'm not taking them out of the contention category, but I'm just saying what I am realizing is how difficult the competition is going to be here.
Yeah, I got to say, it makes me very nervous to see, like, the games that the Sharks have. They've won a lot of these games that they need to win, but it hasn't been, like, decisive. They've been, like, close.
They've won a lot of one-goal games, haven't they?
Yeah, they've won a lot of those. And then it was like, it's surprising to take it as a upside, but I've kind of felt that they've been playing their best against these tough teams, like in the Florida road trip.
Yeah.
They were playing generally better than they have, but still like not getting results because they're like playing the best teams in the NHL.
Well, I mean, what's crazy is they lost both of their games against the Seattle Kraken this year. The expansion team beat the Sharks twice.
Yeah.
But then to your point,
that's unfortunate.
On that trip that started in D.C. against the Caps, Sharks won that game. Was it 4-1? And then three straight one-goal losses. Now, 2 of them obviously were in overtime. They get points from that. They end up with 4 out of a total 8 points on the trip. So it's a 500 trip. But, yeah, the fact that they played Florida, Tampa, and the Hurricanes so well, those are literally top teams in the league. So who are these guys? Why are they playing up to the level of those really good teams on back-to-backs and then kind of hand the Kraken a second period a couple weeks ago and you hand Seattle a victory? So you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Little hard to figure out there, maybe a little bit frustrating too, but I think when we digest playoffs for this team, I think what's setting in, it would be worse if it set in that they're not good enough to get there. I think what's really really setting in is that it's going to be really tough, and maybe that part might be what limits them. I don't know. I hope it doesn't, but I don't know. I'm just trying to be real. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's very confusing because they can play when they played the Kraken last time. They had like what was it 4 or 5 third period power plays where they couldn't score. It felt like they were on the power play forever, but just couldn't get enough happening. Yeah,
and that's kind of been one of their issues too. Is I think honestly, if I had to, at about the midseason point, I did a video on this, and it was their issue with the power play. It's twofold. The Sharks have not been getting on the power play as much as they need to, but they've not. I mean, they've not been converting on it as much as they need to. But I think maybe the real issue is if you're getting on the power play twice a night in this league, it's probably not even enough, right? It doesn't give you any rhythm. It doesn't give you like the edge you need in those games. And so how do you get on the power play more? I think that's probably their question. As much as it is, how do you score more on it? How do you get on it more? So
yeah, I think a big part of that's going to be Karlsson, because Karlsson can basically control the team with his stick handling ability and ability to keep it in the zone and
create a little bit more.
Yeah, he can easily just make a way into the offensive zone and keep it there.
Yeah.
So we need playmakers like him to be able to establish like an offensive presence. And we need guys like Meyer and Hurdle and Couture to step up inside, make screens, make shots, tip shots, just kind of do more.
Yeah.
And that'll definitely help our team if we can become more powerful on the power play, because we seem to be a good penalty killing team, but our power play really lacks. So
no doubt. Hey, I don't want to rush you out of here, but I do want to say thank you for calling. I'm going to try and get to a couple more, as many as I can, actually, by about 11 o'clock. That's kind of my my cut time tonight. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being on YouTube and subscribing. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man.
Awesome. Have a good night. Be safe, all right?
All right, you too.
Okay. All right, phone line's now officially reopened. And again, I just kind of wait until the next call comes and we'll do the next one. But keep this phone number bookmarked. Again, voicemails, downtime, when I'm not live streaming, you want to say something, I'm going to get to making more videos based on your voicemails. You guys have, I mean, it's like this. You guys have good things to say, a nice short voicemail, a good question, a comment, a thought. You state it, I'll follow it up, and I'll put it on a video here. By the way, how do you like the new setup? I've got the tri-monitor setup here. This is just a TV I can put on anything. This is kind of like what's called my multi-view over here. Make sure that I'm actually still streaming. It's got all my controls on it. And then now down here, I have a totally separate screen for the other computer so that I can take calls and all that stuff. I don't want to put that up too big so people can see the detail on it. But anyway, so that's that's the new little try setup down there. I had to do a little monitor mounting down in the corner. Maybe there's not phone calls right now. Maybe I should dip into the old Cody says, where is it here? My calls keep going to voicemail. That's not good. Thanks, Prez. I appreciate that. Hello, Eric. Future home of the A's. Yeah. Digging the shirt. Hey, lastdivebar.com. Lastdivebar.com. Got to make sure I get that in there. Okay. The phone is ringing again. Good evening from the 650. Who's this?
Whoa, Brody.
Hey, who's this?
Jake.
Jake, how are you? How are you?
Great. You remember me, right?
Give me a...
I have a donor guy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually got through.
It's crazy. You know, say no more. I mean, literally, say no more. How's it going?
It's going great. No, I'm just actually really happy to just speak with you. I mean,
likewise.
Obviously, during COVID, before we used to always get together and do our little picture routes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just great to actually say hi to you again.
You were at a lot of games. And I always feel like every time I was there, I would somehow magically run across you, concourse, elevator, parking lot, everywhere. Hey, so I got to ask you the million dollar question here. Okay.
Yes.
So you wear the shirt. You used to wear the shirt, I have a Joner.
Of course.
As in Martin Jones. You had Martin Jones's face on it. He was like the old two-finger point. But my question is, and you wore that shirt. It used to catch people's eyes. They're like, what is that shirt? What did that shirt just say? Anyway. How did you always know to turn right to when the camera cut to you? It wasn't even like you're looking for the red light. What are you doing? How do you do that?
Okay. Sorry, that's my girlfriend laughing in the background.
Congratulations, by the
way. No, I actually am positioned where my season tickets have been for the past 6 or so years. We became friends with the actual camera guy.
Okay.
And he sits right next to us. And I mean, if I can say a little cheat code kind of thing, I would always be like, hey, Aaron, come on, put us on.
Well, and you just sold him out. Now we know it's Aaron. Now we know which camera person it is.
But I would always do this for the kids. A couple of the people that sit around us, they have the little ones, and then I'm like, hey, can you put them on?
Cool.
Some of the people that are new to the section, I'd always be like, no, throw them in there, do whatever. But no, it's always just like a family event kind of thing, and obviously, you kind of know, it just turned into a thing. I don't know how
absolutely.
to explain it.
No, you're absolutely right. It's you have such an exuberation. Honestly, even when you called before you said your name, I was like, this person's got energy, and that certainly comes across in you're that guy. You're the goal guy. I have a Joner guy.
Hold on, really quick. Sorry, Brody. My mother is coming into the room. Do you mind saying hi to Brody, Mom?
Sure, please do.
Hi, Brody. How are you? Oh, hey.
Hi. How's it going?
How are you?
You are definitely live on YouTube right now. Just so you know, that's what we're doing here.
Okay.
Yeah, you just freaked her out. Well, I called.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Brody. We're all geeking out right now.
You're
okay, I was able to get through.
It's all good. No, it's all good. I really appreciate it. So, what do you guys do when there's no games for 2.5 weeks?
Cry.
Cry.
I do a lot.
You found YouTube, which is okay. Which is the next best thing. Awesome.
I mean, it's that or play video games, honestly.
Yeah,
You've been
hey.
playing so much Pokemon and eating a bunch of hot Cheetos.
What system do you have? What gaming system do you have?
I have a Switch, a PS4, an Xbox One.
Okay.
I have emulators. I have a PC.
Wow.
I am a nerd.
So let me ask you this on the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Which I now have a Series S. I have a Series S. I know there's I know there's an X. I know there's an X, but so here's the games I have on there: Flight Simulator, which I love, FIFA, soccer, NHL, MLB The Show, and I think NHL 94. What's a non-sports game that I should get into?
For the Xbox?
Yeah.
I mean, goes without saying Halo Infinite, but I mean, other than that, seriously, if you want to go dip your toes into some indie games, if you have a significant other, you should play.
I do. She's a wife too.
Well, I know.
We're
I'm
past
just trying
that.
to keep it generalized. Okay,
I appreciate
it. What's that one? A Tale of Two? No, It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
It's like we could both play it.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
okay.
it's a two-player game. It's a
All
split
right.
screen. It's about a husband and wife that are getting. Sorry to put this in, but it's about a husband and wife that get divorced, and the kid is trying to keep them together by using little dolls.
Yeah.
And basically, you have to use each other to solve like platforming, and it's amazing.
Okay. We have a kid, so I think we already play that game. Oh, all right. No, but okay. And I will check out Halo because I've yeah. Honestly,
like I said, that goes without saying.
here's something amazing. I don't even know. You're gonna laugh at me. I don't even know what Halo is. Is it a shooting game or is it a exploration game?
God.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Show your age more.
I don't even know. It came out in the 2000s. I was busy.
Dude, I was like, come on, I'm 30 and
I know.
I came out in like elementary school.
I know. Trust me, I'm not.
First-person shooter.
Okay, I'm not saying that as I'm not saying that as a pride thing. I never got into it.
No, it's totally understandable.
So,
no, it's a cool shooter game. I mean, if you like Star Wars kind of stuff, it's all science fiction, like up in the you know.
I'm probably gonna get ripped in the comments. I'm gonna get ripped in the comments for not knowing that. By the way, so
you honestly might. But hey, I not to cut this off because I know you want to talk to other people.
Yeah, fire away.
No, I did. Okay, yeah. So the one question I did have, and this is not based on my personal preference. It's just something I've been seeing continuously on like NHL or little Instagram comments that everyone wants Mario Ferraro to be the next captain.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, personally, I say that Hurdle should have the C next, if anything.
Okay.
But what do you think about people already saying, like, just predisposing, saying that Mario is going to get the next C?
You've been a Sharks fan for a while, right? You've been around this stuff.
Of course.
Do you remember? Do you remember in the mid 2010s when I would probably just put it on Twitter and say like Logan Couture, he's definitely the next captain of this team. He's captain material.
And then you put me. Yeah, I remember you put.
I
me.
mean, let me try and explain. I'm only mentioning that because let me try and explain this. I think what people see are young players when they come in. And when they emerge like Logan did, and when they emerge like Mario has, I think it's just inevitable that people around that group, around that team are going to say, that's captain material. Now, it was weird for me to ever say that about Logan when Joe Thornton was the captain, or when Logan came in, Rob Blake might have been captain the first year, and Patrick Marleau had just been captain, and then Joe Pavelski was captain after Joe Thornton. So it was kind of weird to always put a player and say, well, that's a future captain when you already have a captain of your team. And it's weird to anoint somebody as kind of that. But I think it's the same. It's history almost repeating itself. It's Mario, a player who plays a certain way, has a certain attitude about him, has a certain demeanor about him, could lead individuals. It's more than just being a leader. I think it's being the leader. hockey and the sea. I mean, there's really no, even football and team captains. This is not the same. A hockey captain means more, I think, than any sport across any other professional league in North America. But
that's what I'm trying to say is like how that people are already saying Ferraro over Hurdle.
Oh, so that's your you're saying you agree with Ferraro, but you think Hurdle is more of a priority? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like it's just overstepping. Like,
Yeah.
taking too much. Like, he's such a young player. Nothing against Ferraro by any means. Nothing against Ferraro.
Okay.
I'm
No,
just saying that
that's
it's
fair.
Such a leap, and that you look at people like Hurdle.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like they're more deserving. It just seems there's like this weird dichotomy now. I mean, look at the Kachuk brothers.
Okay.
Like how young they are and how they became captains so quick.
Right. Did you ever? But when Hurdle was in his first couple years, early 2010s, did you ever think he'd be captain material? Like, let's say in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my girlfriend's saying yes.
Yes. Okay. No, I was just asking honestly. I think part of the reason is timing too. Like, people look at Logan and say, okay, he's going to play a couple more years, and then Mario is the right age to take it over. Whereas,
of course, but I feel like it's just a good year.
Yeah,
that you should, and that's like what you're saying is like with Hurdle, it was a good year. I'm not gonna like jump ship and say that's what I want.
Well, I'm just saying that Mario's career is going to outlast probably Logan and probably Hurdle, right? So the only point I'm making is it's as much as it is a respect thing of who you would think might be the next captain, it's also a timing thing, because you're looking at it and say, well, Logan and Hurdle are of similar age. They'll probably end up playing, close to the same amount of years and whatever. Yeah. And obviously Hurdle too, as of this moment, he's not signed on the team for next year. So there's that whole thing. There's that whole thing too. So I think what you bring up is a great point though. Like, why do we anoint Mario that way? What is it about Mario? Why did we not say Hurdle? Why do we not mention some other names? But
I mean, especially even Timo. I mean, not obviously.
No, but that's another good one.
I mean, but it's still. It just seems very strange to me that everyone just immediately went to. Like I said, nothing against Mario. I'm wearing his. Oh yeah, you're gonna see my new shirt on Valentine's Day.
Oh great! It has to do with Mario, huh?
Oh yeah, it's a Super Mario, but it says Super Ferraro. Sure, you're gonna see it.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, shout out to carawayclothing.com.
Hey, get your plugs in. They're good people too. I love it. I love it.
Last question.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to let you go so you can talk to other people.
Yeah.
And I know it's what 10:30. Okay. Yeah. Who do you want to be as a captain? If you were to choose for next season, do you honestly have a preference
for the Sharks?
Yes.
I think Logan. I mean, honestly, let me say it like this, and it's not just because he and I might be friendly or whatever. I think the biggest thing is that you're seeing a Logan now that's reinvigorated. He is very much caught a second wind of this. The team is, I mean, he as captain, he's yet to have a really good year. Like the team kind of below, the floor below him and the team kind of got pulled out or fell out under him. So, and granted, how that happened, why that happened, that's probably not the conversation here, but I'm just saying he as a leader, he in that role, I think has grown into it. I think jumping into it, look, even when Pavelski jumped in, and Pavelski was a great captain, there's no question. He was relatable. Guys loved him, but he had Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau still there. Logan's here now with none of the pillars that used to exist in the organization.
Very cool.
Maybe except for Brent. Brent Burns been around it.
Oh, usually Burns and Vlasic.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like it's not the same structure necessarily that it used to be of all that support. So all I'm saying is that I there's no question for me that it's Logan for now and for more years. And for the immediate future, there's no question for me.
Okay, now you just made me have one last question.
Okay, one last question. Go ahead.
Do you think that Pavelski is going to be overtaking Jamie Benn in Dallas?
You know what? I wish I don't. I follow Joe's career and I watch what he does.
Is that a little bit too on the nose?
No, I just don't. I don't know. I couldn't give you a good answer. Like I don't. Whatever I might say, although I am wearing a Dallas Stars like Oakland A's green shirt, that's about as much on the inside as I am with that team. So I honestly don't know. I don't know. I'm probably going to say no, but I don't know for sure.
All right. Well, that's good enough for me.
No, hey, it was a pleasure. I'm glad you called. I will hopefully see you sooner than later.
Hey, like I said, as always, I always love your company. And I miss you a bunch, and I hope you're staying safe and doing well.
Thank you.
Obviously you're doing well, but I
mean... you never know. Honestly, no, the feelings are mutual. Jake, thank you so much, and have a good night, okay? And tell your family, your girlfriend, your mom, tell them I said hello.
I will do, man. Have a good night.
All right, you too. All right. All right, we will keep it rolling here. There was the comment up above here. Was this Glyph? I want to know Brody's teeth whitening routine. I don't have one. Do they look especially white here? I can give you my braces conversation in just a second. Uh-oh, I put some phone numbers on the screen. Didn't mean to do that. Who is this from the 510? Hello.
Hey, Brody, this is Casey, A's Raiders Dub Sharks once again. What's up?
You're back. What's going on? You haven't gone on your month-long sabbatical yet.
I have not. I'm preparing right now.
Oh, really?
I'm leaving in a couple weeks. Well, 4 weeks about. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
How's the future uploads of the loads of uploads? I should say. You're trying to make a bunch of videos while you're gone, right? For your channel.
Right. Yeah, I have it all mapped out. So
nice.
Basically, in the past couple of months, I made a video on every single one of my team's championships, starting with the 1910 Philadelphia A's World Series and ending with the 2018 Warriors Championship.
Wait, so what do you say about the 1910 Philadelphia A's? Where do you even find information? Or I guess it's the internet, obviously. But like, how far do you go into that? What do you say?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, like you basically said it, like the internet. But what I do is, like the night before I make the video, I go on a kind of extensive research and kind of figuring out like who were the good players at the time.
Okay.
What were some interesting quirks about the series, or like what was going on? I learned a lot, like, figuring these out and going through all 9 A's World Series, making like an 8-minute video on each.
That's really cool.
It was fun.
Have you got to 89 yet? Or so you've made all these videos, or you just done? Okay. Oh, so did you like 89?
Yeah. 89 was definitely the best one to do, for sure. And so, like, you could find those on my channel, but now what I'm thinking is for this sabbatical I'm going on.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, I know it's going to suck, but I'm going to do why not? I'll do all the losses, I guess. So I'm going to start with whatever their first loss was, it was early in the 1900s. I don't know, but yeah, do all the losses. And then I can include the Sharks, because like Sharks never won a Stanley Cup, unfortunately. And I want to make a video about the 2016 Stanley Cup.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I lived that one. It was rough. Well, you know what? I think what there's a couple things that, and you're obviously old enough to remember it. It wasn't that long ago, but there was 2 things about it. Number one is that it came on. I felt like it came on so fast. You get through the first couple rounds, then you beat Nashville, and then you're right there. You're there in the final. The other thing that was kind of, and I'll say this, and I hope people understand it, and you're a Warriors guy too, but it was frustrating that it came in the same year where the Warriors were simultaneously in the NBA Finals against Cleveland. Frustrating.
I know.
Not from a Bay Area perspective. It was great to have 2 teams in the championship at the same time, but I wish the Sharks were on the stage all by themselves, in retrospect. I really do. I think it would have lasted longer,
for sure.
And I obviously wish the result were different too, but so.
Yeah, and it's a shame because, like, that was kind of my first taste of, like, Sharks fandom, because I've liked the A's, Raiders, and Warriors, like, a lot. Like, I guess I wouldn't say significantly longer than I've liked the Sharks, but I guess I was more exposed to the A's, Raiders, and Warriors just because, like, they're more local to me.
Sure.
But yeah, that Sharks team was like it was eye opening because I didn't really see hockey as like at the same level as the other sports until I like kind of I started watching, I think the first really glimpse of it was that season, like against the LA Kings. I think it was the first round, and just seeing like, wow, these guys can play. And I think it was like the same week when the Sharks and Warriors, maybe the same couple of weeks when they lost.
Oh yeah.
Both their respective finals. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I just mean from an attention standpoint, it was finally after, and I think that was the 30th. No, sorry. It was that was the 25th season. Or that was the 26th season, I think. Why can't I say that? 26th season. But the point is, I wish it were commemorated a little bit differently. And obviously, like I said, the result could have gone better too, but it just happened so fast. Anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, that was, and now you kind of play the waiting game of, well, how long will it take before they ever get that chance again? It only took you 25 years to get the first one. So,
yeah, for sure. And
anyway,
it's like these other teams that kind of have come up in the same era, and of course Vegas making it in their first year. And,
well, Anaheim did it really fast. Tampa, there was a lot of expansion type teams from the 90s that already did it. In baseball, like Florida Marlins were the same way. It seems like it happened so quick and easy for them. So, even for Las Vegas, even for the Golden Knights to be, I don't think this was a big enough story when it happened. For the Las Vegas Golden Knights to be in a Stanley Cup final in their inaugural season, even though they lost, if that were a football team in the Super Bowl in their first year, they would make a Hollywood movie about that. And in hockey, it was kind of like, it's a cool story, but it's not that big a deal. It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So I recognize that.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a question for you. I know you've done a lot of videos on the lockout and whatnot. I need to catch up, but my question for you, just from like a personal standpoint, is like how or will it affect kind of your job, I guess, because like you're obviously with media and broadcasting with baseball. Like, do you think it'll if this lockout extends for an extended period, do you think it'll affect your ability to cover the A's or like outside of YouTube?
Well, I mean, let's be straight up. I mean, if there's no games, then there's nothing for Brazil to do on TV. But at the same respect, let me also state this: the hockey season this year goes till the end of April, no matter what, for the regular season. So there's a full month of crossover that I don't normally love because it just. I wish hockey would end at the beginning of April, and I wish baseball would start at the beginning of April. And if we have playoffs, that's a good problem to have. But I don't like when the regular seasons cross over for that long, for about a month. But they also did that last year too, because 56 games and the pandemic season. So to answer your question, does it affect my job? Not that I know of directly. I mean, our company and me personally have been through a 2020 baseball season, which was 60 games in 66 days. So there's a couple months before and after that. Then hockey didn't start until January of 2021. So basically from October till January, there wasn't much going on. Fortunately, our company takes care of us really well, and the situation is really good so that things should be fine for yours truly and all my colleagues, obviously, too. I care about them. But it's not optimal. Yeah. I got to be honest. It's not optimal that these two sides, the players and the owners, for fans, it's not optimal because it doesn't really go over well. Like, fans don't want to hear about that stuff. They just want the product. And obviously those of us who are kind of bystanders of the business, it's unfortunate that it would complicate our business, but it does. So there's no way to lie about it, but I don't think me personally it has a direct impact.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it was good hearing about that. And I guess since I'm going on the sabbatical, I feel like I'm not super concerned about the situation as much as I could or should be, just because I know I would miss spring training and opening day regardless. And I'm a huge Oakland A's attender. I go to spring training, I go to the opening week and whatnot. So I kind of want it to get a tiny bit delayed so I can go, but at the same time, it's it's not optimal for the for the sport or the league.
So
yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where I think a shortening of spring training at this point is almost inevitable. I mean, they usually report in the next week, pitchers and catchers, right? February 14th or 15th. So I almost feel like that's inevitable, that spring training is going to get cut down. And that actually I'm okay with that to a certain extent. But if things don't get kind of roped together by March 1st, then you're talking about not having long enough to prepare and train for the season and get things orchestrated. And also, don't forget this, teams don't even have their rosters set because they don't know the cap situation. Is there going to be a hard cap, soft cap, different cap than before? So all those trades that would have normally happened in the month of December with winter meetings and all that type of stuff, none of that happened. Well, some of it did, but hardly any of it happened. So there are some teams that, as you see them right now, they're going to look totally different by whenever opening day 2022 is. So there's going to be a flurry of trades, transactions, maneuvers, things like that to go along with how much time do we even have to get this thing started. So I think March 1st is kind of the big cutoff date for does opening day happen on time. And then once you get past that, I mean, then you're running into, okay, are we shortening this thing by 2 weeks, by 2 months? There's a lot to be sorted out there. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just, I mean, I feel like with the whole, roster situation, it's like, how do I feel as an A's fan, as somebody who, has to go through a lot of these trades usually happening this time of year? I mean, it happens every year where we lose most of our good players. And I know Matt Olson rumblings were going on right before the lockout hit.
They still are.
Yeah, they still are. And it's like, I remember seeing things like Matt Olson to the Yankees this week, and then the lockout happens. And so it's like, I don't know how to feel. It's like, is Matt Olson going to be, or a guy like, not just Matt Olson, but like our staple players,
of course,
going to be intact? Yeah,
I think this lockout has a bigger effect on a team like the A's, who have a lot of questions surrounding their personnel for next year. Fans are generally not thrilled with the lockout of potential of the season not happening on time, but A's fans are especially on edge because there's so much hinging on how this lockout gets resolved. Okay, now what does it mean for this team's future, their budget, their planning, the players that they may trade now, may trade later, may sign now? Because if there's a salary cap floor and you have to spend a certain dollar amount every year, well, why wouldn't you want to give that money to Matty O or Matt Chapman or Sean Manaea or Chris Bassett, whoever? So there's a lot to be figured out with this. And I don't mean just with the lockout. I mean how it relates and how it affects the Oakland A's. I think A's fans should be kind of like edgy about this whole thing because you don't know what it's going to mean for your team, but it's going to mean something pivotal for your team. Kind of like the stadium. It's right around the corner, and when it happens, what does it mean for your team? Lockout's the same way. What does it mean for this team in the next couple of years? So,
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, I think the salary cap floor thing, back to your point, is just like, I remember seeing, sources report that the A's might go as low as $50 million, and it's just, how long can we do this for? So I'm just hoping, like you said, on edge about the whole situation, anxious.
Well, what if
we need to keep these guys?
What if they said the salary cap floor, and I'm just making up something. What if they said the floor is $91 million, which is crazy because the that's greater than the ceiling of hockey. But what if they said it was $91 million? Okay, and to your point, you have to spend an extra 30 or 40 million bucks this next year. What do you do? Well, I know what you do. you give it to your first and third baseman.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that, I mean, I think honestly, with that kind of money, the A's could be a deep playoff team, considering that this year they hardly missed the playoffs and they had an $80 or so million payroll. So I think that's a great point you brought up. And it's just, or a salary cap as well, because that wouldn't necessarily directly benefit the A's, but it would prohibit teams like the Dodgers spending $300 million. So,
right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Right? If you're going to go hard cap, it's not just the potential floor. You're right. It's the potential upper limit too, which doesn't let you exceed that. And I also think one more thing, and I know you'll appreciate this on the A's. If you really know you're going to get this Howard Terminal in a couple years, if you really know that for sure, you can start to plan your next cycle of players based around that. Now,
Yeah,
granted,
for sure.
I've always hoped that Matt Chapman and Matt Olson are there on opening day. They're a huge part of that team, but I mean, if this stadium doesn't open until 2027, well, guess what? They debuted in Major League Baseball in 2017. They're 10-year veterans at that point. So, I mean, you got to be realistic and say, okay, this stadium is not going to happen in 2024. It's just not. So, back in 2017, if you thought 24, okay, great, Chappie and Ole in their prime, but it may not work out to be that way. So, the lockout affecting the A's, the stadium affected. There is so much up in the air with this team right now.
For sure. Yeah, and kind of a closing point. I think, for sure, if the A's, I know the stadium is definitely a huge priority, but I think if they could win something before the stadium, it would generate a lot of excitement, because this new stadium, it's really going to change and revolutionize baseball in Oakland for generations to come. I know that's obvious. It's like, look at San Francisco, look at San Diego. It's changed so much. And I think if you have a winning team, if you have a World Series to celebrate going into Howard Terminal, not just after it, you have sort of that built up fandom that, will stay there intact, hopefully, sort of like kind of what the Warriors were with Chase Center.
Well, here's my $1 million question. And you bring up a good point about how the Warriors did it. They won championships in the old building. And then that kind of built the new building, to be honest. But would you rather hypothetically, I'll say the A's can win 2 World Series in 3 years. I don't know what years those are. Would you rather have them win 2 World Series in their final 3 years at the Coliseum, or would you rather have them win 2 World Series in their first 3 years at Howard Terminal? And tell me why. Which one and why?
Okay. Okay. From a fan standpoint, I would rather have the Howard Terminal, just because if you're thinking about it logically, the final Coliseum years are like critical, but they would already probably have the broken ground and whatnot.
Yeah, of
and
course.
So that would be we wouldn't have to worry about that. And I feel like just at Howard Terminal, the whole experience, a parade in Jack London Square, I just feel like from a fan, aesthetically, like fantasizing about it, it would just be such a cool experience. And I don't know, I just feel like, winning in that building, just seeing the renderings, it would just be like magical moment, just 2 World, when you bring up 2 World Series, it's just like larger than life sort of.
Yeah,
sort of
and I just, it's not something, honestly, I had thought about until you called in and we were talking about this, but I think there is such a thing for a lot of teams to build momentum going into a new building, whether it's any sport, basketball, football, baseball, hockey. But I think there's also, the peak thing you can do is to win as soon as you move in, because that sets a tone for that building, the atmosphere. It christens the whole new environment. So I don't know. I think to your point, some people say you got to be winning before you get there, like the Warriors did. Well, okay, and they're winning again, so it's not a problem right now. But but I think the pinnacle thing to do is to win as soon as you get in, not before, but as soon as you get in. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's critical for your fandom and for your future. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, it was great talking to you. I hope I talk to you again before your trip. I don't know when that is coming up, right? But March 5th, I think. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll be streaming before then. I got a feeling we'll talk before then. So thanks for calling in. Yeah, thank you. You too. All right, have a good one. Catch you later. That's A's, Raiders, Dubs, Sharks, by the way. Young man runs his own channel, does really cool videos. I will not be surprised when he is working in my business someday. Hopefully he can push me around in the wheelchair to the studio. That'd be something. But you can tell it when young people, this is what they want to do and they're into it and they've got all the right effort and energy, and he's definitely got it. So he's always impressed me. Let's go back here to the chat. Yeah, so what was this all about? My teeth whitening. I know what I was going to tell you about. I had braces when I was in high school. I think it was my sophomore year. Was it freshman, sophomore, or sophomore, junior? And braces were painful. I know those of you out there have had them and know about them. I guess I'm not going to tell. Oh, I keep doing that. Sorry. I'll tell you my braces story in just a second. Let me take this call here real quick. Hello from the 661. Who is this?
Hey, Brody. My name is Luis. I'm from Lancaster. I live in the desert area of SoCal.
Luis,
in the
how are
Mojave
you?
area.
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
Familiar with SoCal and Lancaster. How's it going?
I'm going good, man. I was actually watching your show. This is actually Digital Press. I was in your commentary there.
Oh, nice. I appreciate you being here in the comments and now the calls. I'm glad you got in.
Yeah, I saw your notification thing went live. I was like, you know what? Let me see what he's up to.
That's
so
awesome.
I might as well jump in.
I got to tell you,
Yeah,
you got a smooth delivery. If we get you a good mic, like you could do it. You could do the radio thing, I think. I'm serious.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I'm a content creator on starting out on YouTube again.
You're a what? You're a what? What on YouTube?
Content creator.
Oh,
I do
creator.
Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah, I do Raiders, but also want to start basically doing the A's as well.
Okay, cool. Well,
yeah,
join the club.
I will. I've been an A's fan for a while, and it's kind of crazy because people ask me, how did you become an A's fan technically if you live down south? Well, my family's all pretty much Dodgers. They're all Dodgers fans, basically. I'm the only A's fan in my family. That's from what I can bring up.
Got it.
Yeah, I didn't really find influence there, but I really found influence here because of Ramon Laureano, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he used to play in my town's single A team, the Jayhawks, before they got wiped out from the cut.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I fell along with him along the trails. And then once I heard he got traded to the team, I was like, you know what? Let me start watching this. So I've been a fan since pretty much he started there.
So you were hooked on Ramon Laureano when he was a single A baseball player.
Yeah.
So what did you see in Laser Ramon back then? Because I'm not surprised. I didn't know him back then. I know him now, and I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say. But what did you see in him back then?
Oh man, there's really in this town. You don't really see a lot of Dominican baseball players that come from the Dominican Republic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I support all my how do I say Latino countries and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big fan of those countries. Yeah. Him being a defender, and I'm pretty much being a very underrated defender in this game. That's like the guys I like to see, people that stand out from the team.
Yeah.
And his ability to field and everything really caught my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that time, he had a pretty decent bat. I don't remember his stats quite well, but he was a stand-up player, and I liked him a lot. So that's how I really got into it. And this is around the time that the Astros owned the how do I say, the minor camp at the time.
Yeah. The team in Lancaster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy that you picked up on him specifically that early, you know? And I mean, look, how many guys even from single A ever even get a crack at the show? He told me his first year with the A's, and I heard this and I confirmed it with him, that he was not even getting scouted by pro scouts. I think this was in college. And so he had flown back to the DR, and one of his teammates, I think it was in Texas. I think his teammate either lived in Texas or something, but a scout was coming to scout his teammate, and the teammate called up Ramon and said, "I told the scout about you, and they got to look at you too." And the teammate said, so he went back and talked to the scout, and the scout said, "Well, can he be here tomorrow?" They're like, "Well, what?" He flew himself out there to Houston or whatever part of Texas to get scouted, and that's how it happened. So he literally put himself on a flight for the next day. He wasn't even there to get looked at. And anyway, to your point, now look where he is, and great human being. I hate to bring up the negative of his suspension last year.
Currently.
But that was so frustrating because I feel like, I mean, I do know him, but I also feel like I know him more than I actually do, if that makes sense. But I was so heartbroken for him because I do feel like there was, and we haven't talked about it yet. He obviously couldn't at the time, but something happened there. You know, something happened for whatever, you know, however it played out, something happened there, and I just feel so bad in retrospect because I know what his heart is all about, and that's not a player who's in it to be cheating and, you know, pulling tricks and all that stuff. That's not him. So I don't know what happened still, but I felt bad. I really felt bad.
Oh no, I agree with you. He's a very respectful player, and and I even read his statement too when that whole suspension thing came out, and he released a statement saying that it broke him basically.
Oh,
and
100%.
How, yeah, I can understand that from any player that is going through anything like that, even from his standpoint. I appreciate the work he's done for the team. He's a very loyal player in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So hopefully when he's eligible for ages, maybe we could keep him for a little bit longer.
Well, he's going to have to miss, I think he's going to have to miss the first, is it like 20 games of this season too? Because I think there was about 60 left.
From what I remember, I was keeping count a little bit, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
He served about 53 games so far.
Yeah, there you go. So he's got 8 and 80 to go, right? So 27, right? So
yeah.
I'll tell you what, you and I are on the same page. He's one of my favorites, player wise, people wise, and I was disappointed, but I was more frustrated than I was actually like disappointed. It's almost like probably how you would feel about a family member if that happened to them. You're more frustrated for them and about the whole thing than you are like disappointed, because like I said, you know who he is, what he's all about, but. No, hey, you picked a great player, honestly. You picked him from single A. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't, like I said, I kept in touch with them a little bit last year afterwards, and like I said, I didn't really want details, but I did send him a couple messages, a little back and forth, just to say, hey, I wish, and when the A's were kind of pushing still in August, I wish you were part of this, and so he'll be back. I know he will be back as good as ever.
Oh yeah.
Not by opening day, but soon after that, he'll be back as good as ever. So that's really cool. Thanks.
So it continues.
Thanks for sharing that. That was really cool, and I think he's his story, his journey is special. So there's no question.
Very special.
I think if you go to Laser, wait, let me pull this up on the screen because I'm not sure to actually wait. Laser Ramon.com. Let me see. Here, I'll put this up on the screen here for just a second so everybody can see it. If you go to laserramon.com, it actually goes to my YouTube channel. I bought the domain name. There it is. Yep, it'll make you subscribe if you go into it. Anyway, yeah, I did that. I did that a couple years ago. I've kept the domain name. I think I have mattchapmanfanclub.com too. So
I'm actually wearing his jersey too right now.
Chappie, I love it. He's another just high quality individual. I'm not saying everybody's perfect. I'm just saying but he's a good teammate, raised by a good family. I struggled through last year with all those strikeouts, but that's again, I know that's not him. So. I hope he gets it all. Hope he gets it all sorted out.
Yeah, a very locked down player for sure.
Hey, I appreciate you calling. I'm going to try and get one more here. I said I was going to be out of here by 11 because I got some things to do.
Oh no worries, man.
I really appreciate it, and from Lancaster too. That's awesome. So you're not right around the corner, but that's great.
Yeah, I need to go to my first A games too, man. I need to.
Yeah. Hey, it'd be great to have you. Go to the Coliseum before you get to eventually go to Howard Terminal.
That's where I need to visit in the Bay Area, man.
Spectacular. Luis, right? That's your name?
Yes.
Yeah, Luis, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brody. I appreciate you for answering.
You got it. Have a good night. Be safe, okay?
You too, man. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. I keep this chat comment on here because I really want to get to this, but I have a feeling one more phone call is going to happen. So maybe I'll save this. I don't have a teeth whitening routine. I'm just saying the one thing I'm happy I did in retrospect was have braces in high school because it at least gave me straight teeth. I used to have pretty crooked teeth, especially on the top, and they kind of grew in funky, and braces were painful as all could be. I don't know how white teeth are. I don't really care about that, but straight. The fact that I was able to get them straight was eventually huge for me. Okay. Uh-oh, I accepted it and it went away. From the 805. Was that the number? 805 something? Call back. I guess I could call you back. All right, last one here. From the 510, who's this?
This is Patrick Cabral. Hey, it's Brody.
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
I'm good. I follow both your channels. I'm the fellow pilot.
Nice. Well, this will be a good.
Yeah.
You're the last call. I've kind of had to declare that for time purposes. So, what do you fly?
Well, I'm also an airline pilot, so I fly the E-175 out of Seattle.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling from Edgewood, Washington, but I grew up in Fremont, so
okay.
And been following Patty since he was 14 as a number. So
when he was number 14, yeah.
yeah. But the reason why I wanted to call is I'm following you in a lot of the topics, but I'm really worried that that Hurdle is like actually the bait that we need to get over the bubble. And I know we've all talked about this a million times, but it's still just, it's like, I don't know. I mean, we talked about Ferraro, about like the new blood and him being captain material, but it's still, my question would be like, do you have like the insight that, any more insight in the last couple of days as we've been having a break of what the Sharks are actually going to do?
No. Well, I wanted to let you finish. I should have said it earlier. Well, no, but when you said, when you talked about him as bait, now, are you saying, let me see if I'm getting this right. Are you saying that he's a guy you could re-sign, but then he's a guy that you could also like sign and trade for other pieces from another team to build your Sharks organization deeper in the future? Is that what you're saying?
I think, yes.
Okay.
It would be, answer your question to be short about it, but at the same time, like, I don't want it. Like,
I agree.
Like, I really don't want it.
I agree.
But I know that you talked on the Fin Factor with Aaron and Paul and other people that I have in my fantasy hockey league. It's just like we all like don't want it to happen, but we'll all acknowledge that it is happening.
Yeah,
like it is a very strong possibility. But well,
let me address that part, because you bring up an interesting dynamic. I think how many people are talking about, well, are you going to re-sign him, or is he not going to sign here? Nobody's talking about sign him and do it as part of a sign and trade deal where you get other pieces from a different team. Like that's the maneuver. That's a big time maneuver. That's a lot of wheeling and dealing right there. But I know what you're saying too, in a sense that you like Hurdle so much, you also realize he is a piece that would be so attractive to somebody else that you could get a lot of things you want from them because they want him, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's just like, it's really just like, it's gut wrenching almost, because like Hurdle's smile is infectious. And it's so Mr. Sharks, like in terms of Patty, in terms of Joe, it's like right where I think part of that soul of this team right now is Hurdle, as well as new blood in terms of Eklund and Ferraro and solid leadership, but in other players like Logan. And I was so excited that Logan got the captain, but he's had some really hard years. But I do have a question, or more of like an idea for you.
Okay.
If you hear me out.
Yeah.
You should go take flights of Sharks players and film them and put it on YouTube. I'm like, just screw the algorithm and be like, no, we're going to do Aviation, and we're going to do Sharks, and we're going to do A's and the Niners, and I mean, can you imagine Stephen Curry being in an airplane with you, Brody, and just like going on a bay tour around the bay and seeing all the cool things around in a small plane? That would be absolutely awesome, in my opinion.
You know what I would do?
Do it.
I'd look over to my right. I'd look over to my right or my left and say, You want to know what 0G feels like? Oh, we're climbing. No, we're diving. Whoa. Yeah, you're out of your seat.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what?
Awesome.
That's been mentioned to me several times before. Logistically, that'd be near impossible to square away, and actually,
right.
People are more, I think, as you know, people are generally afraid a lot of times of even going in a, quote, small, did I lose you? Oh, I lost the last call. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, what I was going to say is people are generally scared to go up in smaller planes. That's something that they're not always accustomed to. Hello, who's this?
Hi, this is Cody.
Hey, Cody, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. You know what? I'm breaking all my rules because I said I was on my last call and it got cut off. I don't know if you heard that. And I said I wasn't going past 11, but here it is 11:01. So you are definitely the last one. What's on your mind?
I was wondering, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but especially it looked like in the game against Tampa, what did you think about the officiating in overtime, especially against Meyer on that embellishment call?
Yeah, that was sketchy at the least. I think, and we've talked a lot about this year, the Sharks have not gained as many power play opportunities as they should be this year, or as they should have. A lot of people are quick to point the finger at, the refs are out to get the Sharks. I don't know that that's the case. And I hate being a post-game broadcaster who comes on and the first thing we talk about is, the refs cost the Sharks the game. And I don't even know, like, in that game and that night, to your point, there were a couple calls that were phantom, late in the game and also in overtime. But I feel like that was a game where I look back and I say, I wonder how, if things would have played out differently, I wonder how differently and if the Sharks would have won because of it. I'm not guaranteeing it, but yeah, that was frustrating to be that close with Tampa, to be that close with the Panthers, and to be that close with Carolina and not get wins, but to lose by 1 goal each in those games. That was frustrating.
Definitely, especially the embellishment call when you watch the replay and saw the stick right in between his legs, nowhere he could go.
It was almost hard to, and hockey players know, right? And that was the thing. 2 Lightning players came up to him and they were trying to sell, he went down easy. I don't think he went down easy at all. He got clubbed with who took him down? I
think it was either Palat or Killorn. It was one of the two.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, gosh, I have my notes. It's funny. Covering sports for a living, it's such a thing where you have all this information that lives in your head that night, and then the next game and the next game. But slowly, when you don't need it anymore, it just kind of fades away until you revisit it. So
totally,
somebody will probably put it in the comments. Go ahead.
Another question. Do you have any update on Doug Wilson's status, or is that just kind of been kept in the dark from all of us?
That's a good question. I don't think it's intentionally being kept away from people, but it's definitely not something that has been offered to us, or there haven't been updates. There have not been things pushed out there. And I think partly because that's just who Doug is. He doesn't want to make things about him versus the team or the season. I was told in not so many words that, things are fine, things are okay, but there's no real change on the situation. So he is involved with everything. Don't let anybody think that's not the case, especially with the trade deadline coming in about I guess 5 weeks or so. Is it March 20th, 21st? So it's a ways.
Some late March, they're expecting the Olympic break.
Yeah, right. It's a ways away. But everything the team has been doing, Joe Will and Doug Wilson, longtime colleagues of each other, so they're in lockstep with everything that's going on. And I think what the Sharks made clear was that Doug Wilson was not taking a complete leave from the franchise or the organization. It's just that he may not be in that role where he's speaking about everything, or he's going to be giving you quotes about everything. He's involved in everything they do, of course, but it's just maybe not in that everyday basis. So
that makes sense. That's good to hear that he's doing well.
I'm glad you asked too, because I on it to your point, I don't think enough people are well, not enough people have asked about it or are talking about it, but I think so many people, it got lost in the mix of November, and then it just kind of like faded from people's memories with the holidays and everything else, and the season happening. So it's not maybe on anybody's front burner. They don't even know that he's not technically around or not, traveling on a regular basis. So, but yeah, it's I think the best way to put it is everything is okay, is what I heard. It's just there's no real update on it though. So,
and then a third question I guess I had was, so I've played, when I used to play hockey up north, I moved to Southern California. Still Sharks fan. I have Carlson and Pavelski fatheads up in my room.
Good for you.
I used to play with like Brad Stewart's kids, and I played a couple games with Marlowe's kid.
Nice.
But who's your favorite Sharks team that you've watched? Like, what team were you most excited to go to a game and watch over the last 10, 15 years-ish?
Like what season?
Yeah, like what season team were you like, this team is fun to watch?
So I've got to be upfront with you here. A lot of the years they blend in from one to the next.
Right.
But with that said, I really enjoyed probably like the 2010-11 Sharks, although they got to the conference final that year against, Vancouver. So they didn't, it's not the farthest that team's ever been, but I felt like that was one of the most loaded teams they had. And veteran presence all over the place, superstars all over the place. I actually think it was, I'm trying to remember if it was 2000. So actually my first year covering the team was 09-10, but that year, and somebody just posted the picture the other day, when they had 7 Olympians. Nabby, Thomas Greiss, 4 players on Team Canada, Heatley. Yeah. Well, that was Thomas Greiss and Nabby. Then they had Heatley, Marlowe, Thornton, and Jumbo, and Pavelski was on Team USA. Douglas Murray was on Team Sweden. Is that it? Does that get me to 8? Anyway, that one was fun too. So I would say probably either the 2009-10 team or the 2010-11 team.
I think they also had a pretty stacked team 2019. I think just injuries got the best of them. The year they went to the conference finals to face the Blues, and then for that Game 6 had Hurdle out, Pavelski out, Couture out.
Yeah, that thing kind of fell apart in the end against St. Louis. But I also think too the 18-19 season. I think like a lot of years, the regular seasons were not indicators of how special the playoffs could get, and as you know, I mean, things were looking bleak against Las Vegas. The fact that it had to go to a Game 7, and the Sharks obviously, dug their way out of it. But anyway, it was I liked that team too. But I agree that in the end, that's kind of been the downfall of a lot of really good Sharks teams, is that by the end of the year, they're not anything close to how they started the year. And if they could maintain any sense of health by the end, they would have fared a lot differently. So, anyway.
Right. And then one final question I guess I have before I'll let you go.
Sure.
Maybe over the last 2 or 3 years, what's maybe one sneaky trade that Doug Wilson's made that no one made a big deal about that you really liked? For me, it was probably the Barabanov trade. I think that's worked out extremely well for the Sharks and didn't give up too much. What's one that catches your attention?
Well, let me just give you one on that same note first, because my mind was already there. How about trading away Rudolph Balcers as part of the Carlson deal and then getting Balcers back? I think Rudy's a good player. Barabanov, I would agree. Gosh, I would really have to think. Are you saying just trades, or are you saying any type of acquisition?
It could be a trade, pickup, or an acquisition.
Gosh.
Another thing is I don't think they gave up that much to get Brendan Dillon either.
No, they did not in retrospect. Well, and that was kind of you bring up a good name and a good point. Well, it was Jason Demers, right? Went to Dallas. Was that deal in 2013 or 14? Yeah. So I think the point is that Doug has always been able to build onto teams without having to take away existing players. Down the stretch when you were looking for that extra scoring punch or you were looking for that one complimentary piece, the Sharks never necessarily had to give up a roster player to get somebody else for the playoff run. So, I mean, to be honest, I'd have to really dig and dive through. That's such a detailed question. It's a great question. I would have a hard time feeling good about giving you an answer off the top of my head, but yeah, there have been a lot of acquisitions, but I think the other thing is sometimes you realize how costly those acquisitions have been if all of a sudden the Sharks didn't have draft picks for a couple years, which I think now we're on the backside. We're kind of paying the price of all those years of, picking up a player in 2016 down the deadline, by the deadline, or 2017 or whatever.
Carlson pick.
Yeah,
We're still in this.
or that trade too, right? So the trade itself cost a couple draft picks and years of not having, and then what happens is, okay, so you don't have a draft pick in 2019. Well, then by 2022, when that player who you would have drafted in 19 would be ready for your team is not there, So that's kind of why the Sharks are like retooling back to having a strong pipeline all over again. So
almost like Tim Stützle, who they would have had, or that was their technically pick in 2020.
Right.
And Ottawa had from that.
And the other thing too is everything is in hindsight is 2020 of who you should have taken, what was obvious. I mean, scouts are good, but scouts of every team and every league miss something sometimes too, right? So players do slip.
The Sharks have had very few top 10 picks over the last 10 years, and our last two have turned out pretty well. I think our last one was before Eklund was Timo.
It's kind of like the Detroit Red Wings of all those years from the 2000s and 2010s when they were, was it 27 straight years of playoffs or something, whatever their streak was. Like they literally during that time they had a top 10 pick like maybe once. How do you stay good for that long and never replenish through your draft or never replenish at that highest, tier of picks? It was pretty amazing. So,
and like the Sharks never had that really superstar score. The Sharks were always built on a good top six and then a ton of depth and a good penalty kill. And that's what all the Sharks playoff teams are really built on. Yeah. Well, hopefully they can bolster up. I mean, when I say bolster up, I just think this year at the deadline, and I made a video about this, I think they're best, if they are in a legit position to contend, which it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. I think the best thing they could do for their franchise overall is just stand pat. I think that in itself is a statement versus tearing it apart or breaking up something that has a chance, but you're breaking it up because you're still focused on the future. So. We're making more smart trades like the Barabonov, where it's not giving up much for a chance of someone being a little bit better than what you had.
Good example. Good example. Hey, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good night.
You too. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, absolutely. All right, so that is the conclusion of the calls, and that is going to bring me finally back to this. Should I start it from scratch? Okay. Here's how I want to say it about teeth. I had braces, and I don't know the years. It was 2 years, almost 2 full years. So it was either a freshman and sophomore of high school or a sophomore and junior in high school. And I don't even remember because it's convenient memory. I've tried to flush it out. Braces were so painful. I will never forget the first day / night / next couple days of having them on. And these are not the 2000s versions of braces. This is the 90s versions of braces, which were probably the 70s versions of braces. All metal stuff, all, the wire here and here. And then I was supposed to wear a retainer at night, I think. I never wore the retainer. I mean, I encourage kids to, but I did not do it. I'm not sleeping with that. Anyway, I think there was a whole headpiece thing, this mouth stuff, mouth guard, whatever. Anyway. So a couple things about it. It was painful. I used to get, and I would play in high school basketball. I would get elbowed in the face, and all of a sudden I'd have to peel my skin out of the braces. It was disgusting. There was one time I'll never forget. I got hit, basketball came or something hit me right in the bottom front lip right here. And I had to peel my skin from out. I could feel the skin ripping off. I don't mean to be too graphic, but yeah. Anyway, had a big old sore on my mouth. It was terrible. And every time you go to the the orthodontist, they would tighten up your braces just a little bit more, and it would be painful for days. And you did not want to eat anything remotely firm or crunchy or anything like that. It was basically, let's just have soup and smoothies for the next few days. It was painful. And then couldn't eat popcorn. You didn't want to get food stuck in your braces, but even normal food would get, I mean, you always had to have a swish of water and just try and clean it up. I hated that. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you'd be like, is that burrito from lunch in my braces? I'll also never forget the day of getting the braces taken off for that first time. And you're like, you can't stop rubbing your tongue around your teeth. You're like, oh, this is so smooth, so slick, and your mouth feels empty because there's not all that stuff in there. Anyway, my teeth were not terribly crooked, but I look back now and I hated it, and I'm sure my parents hated paying for it. But getting braces is not something I regret now. Those 2 years, not fun. And I think I even got them off a couple months early, and I was stoked about that. But having braces at the time stunk. Getting them off was a great feeling, but what they do for the rest of your life. And trust me, I'm not old vain person. Like, you need to have perfect teeth. I'm just saying that for kind of this stuff I do, I can't help it. If my teeth were, all over the place, I would probably be more self-conscious about that. Just me personally. And I also think I would have followed through on getting braces, but just do it while you're earlier in life. I don't think that's something you want to, if you don't have to wait until you're older age, I think it's probably better to do it younger, right? Your just body's changing anyway. And it's, anyway, yeah, just, it was worth it. Do it. If you're a younger person and you're going through it right now and you're watching this, you're like, does it get better? Yes. The whole rest of your life is worth it, so long as they get it right, so long as everything works out. There is an end game to it. It pays off. I'm living proof. As for this question, no, I do not whiten my teeth. Maybe it's the lighting in here. Maybe it's the camera setting. I don't know. The home studio is finely tuned for only one specific person, yours truly. So, yeah, if I didn't have it done, I would be in radio. Maddie never had braces. Oh, see, the retainer type kits that you switch out every week. See, they didn't have that back in my day. They did not have that. Felix remembers having braces. It was, it was not fun. It was not fun. Ew. Poor Brody. And I don't mean to make it like that. It's not a poor me story. I'm just saying, it's not fun. A lot of you who've done it know it's not fun, but you also know it's worth it. Yeah. 'Twas a great thing to do over quarantine. There you go. It actually does work, but man, it's hell for a while. I totally agree. Okay. I appreciate everybody for being here. I am going to end the live chat just like that. Yeah. So we'll talk again soon, maybe later this week. I have not orchestrated it yet, but I will. And we will do another Beers with Brody. It's in the initial stages right now. I want to do a Sharks-centric Beers with Brody. I also have a couple individuals to bring on for other episodes of that, maybe in the next coming weeks, but probably early next week, Beers with Brody. I haven't put all the details into it yet, but it's probably on the docket. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching tonight. Be well, everybody. I will talk to you soon. All right. Good night. Thanks for being here.